If you are looking at your time and wondering if you are really 20 minutes from closing, no, you are not. You are actually an hour and 20 minutes from closing, because this is a special edition of the Sports on Pulse. I'm Gary Al Smith. Normally, we'll be here at 4:30 or thereabout, but today, because of circumstances happening at the Ghana Football Association, we have to be here. The normalization committee that is acting as the elections committee for the 2019 GFA Presidential and Executive Council elections has received the recommendations of its vetting committee. By their recommendations, one presidential hopeful, Wilfred Osei, has been disqualified, as 6 persons have passed to be candidates to contest the GFA presidency. I'm here with Benedict Owusu, who was at the launch, as you see on your TV. This is only 2 days ago, and the decision comes 48 hours after Wilfred Osei, aka Palmer, launched his policy document at the Alisa Hotel. These are pictures from just 48 hours ago. Lots of media attention. Over 400 media descended from Ghana and across Africa because of how it was said that he is one of the top 3 to win the election. Before we do that, let's hear him speaking about what plans he had for the GFA. Okay, we will hear him later, but the breaking news is that he has been disqualified. Benedict, thank you for your time.
Right,
we got this bit of news just about 45 to an hour ago. It came officially on the website of the Ghana Football Association. Tell us why they released that bit of news today.
Well, it was supposed to come out yesterday, actually, because they gave the vetting committee a period of 4 days to vet all the aspirants. So they started with 3 of them. I remember Wilfred Osei was there on Saturday with Fred Papu and one other person. And then, yes, the 3rd day was the executive council members, and then they finished up with the Regional Football Association guys. And in all, as I mentioned, they were given 5 days to finish everything. Yesterday, because of issues as to, the story actually came out yesterday.
Yeah.
As at last night, we knew that,
that was what was it.
Yeah, that he had been disqualified. But normally what will happen is, in our culture, you would have to communicate it to the person first before you let the public know. So he was. I understand that it was this morning that he was communicated to that he's not going to be part of the elections based on so and so reasons. Those reasons have not been put out yet now, but he has been told and he knows why he has been disqualified. But of course, I mean, if you are Osei Palmer and having gone through, as you started, what he did 2 days ago at the Alisa Hotel, where he even talked about that he was going to raise an amount of $90.3 million in a period of 4 years to run the activities of the FA, and actually stipulated how he's going to get all those monies. I'm sure it will come to you as a big blow. And of course, it will be interesting to know the next line of action, what he is going to do. We've known him as someone who
it's not afraid to challenge the system.
And previously has corrected the system at the FA when, the players, when clubs were even afraid to take the FA to court. He did so because it is in the old regulations of the FA that if you take the FA to court, you count yourself out as a member of the federation. He did that. He won several of them. The big one, of course, is the Dreams FC issue, which he took to CAS, which he eventually won. So he's someone that is known to be like that I will challenge if I think that it is not right. So it will be interesting to know what he will do at this moment, whether he is going to challenge this or he will leave it as it is for them to go ahead with the election.
Okay, so there he is, taking a sip. At the time, things were cooler, delivering what were his 8 pillars, as he called them, for an impending GFA administration if he had won then. So let's listen to some of his plans.
We refer to the era that I was part of, that is during the Kwesi Nyantakyi era. We went as far as Cape Coast to organize a summit. And the intention was that we wanted to reform Ghana football. So reform was on the agenda. When Anas Expose was shown June 6th, 2018, it brought football to its knees. What was important in terms of lessons learned out of the analysis expose was that Ghana football will have to be reformed. So reform has never been out of the agenda of Ghana football. Normalization Committee, per FIFA Article 8, also took over. And the drive was what? Reforms. That is what motivated and pushed our campaign team to adapt the theme of our policy statement as well, reforming Ghana football. Nothing but reforms, because it's only reforms that can change the face of Ghana football. It may interest you to know that before we can do diligent work on the reforms to be embarked upon, there will be the need for us to put things in perspective. And that is what has warranted or what has occasioned the introduction of reforms into the game of football. Is very important. The architects refer to it as there were structural defects. Structural defect means the foundations were not well laid. And for that matter, there is the need for corrective action or remedial action to be taken in order to advance.
So he had plans, and he was one of 7 who were hoping to be put as candidates for the GFA election. Now that he's been disqualified, Benedict, who are the other 6 who have been passed by the vetting committee?
So George Efie has been passed, the former FA vice president, as well as another former vice president, Fred Papo Ketokriku, executive committee member, with the former administration also has been passed. He's on your screen, and then Amanda Clinton. I get people, ask me, so Amanda Clinton was able to pass. They said, Papa could, even in this studio when we entered, the cameraman asked, how about the men's good lawyer? Yes, she's in there, she passed. Lawyer George Ankoma Benson, also a new face, passed, as well as Fred Papo. So these are the 6 going in for the elections. Sorry, Nana Amponsa as well. Nana Amponsa, Fire Rangers executive chairman, also passed. So these are the 6 going for the presidential election.
So those are the 6 who will contest the FA presidential election, and this man is part, Fred Papo. He's going to launch his manifesto, he says, on the 10th of October. That's next week, Thursday. George Efrie will do his in Sunyane tomorrow. That will be, at the Usbet Hotel. After this man, Nanaya Amponsa, did his a while ago, and we saw.
Nanaya Amponsa has been talking about
it,
being GFA president 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So
this is nothing new to us. His document was out there. He's been out there for a very long time. So it's just that now he's re-echoing everything that he's been saying all these years about being want to be a GFA president. So
Keto Kreku, as we know, did his 2 weeks ago now, and we've seen some of the other candidates, namely George Ankoma Mensah, also speaking about it on radio and all that. He's yet to launch his manifesto. However, if we could get the other parts of the election, the executive council members. So below the president, the most powerful body will be the executive council members. Now, these are the guys who will wield a lot of power as well. For the premier division, the names that we have, some are very, very well-known names in football. You want to go through them?
Yeah, Dr. Tony Obin is there, and now he's representing Media Mayesi. We also have Odru Safo from Bukum Chelsea, as well as Albert coming from Indiana Stars. Is the CEO Frederick Moore with Accra Heart of Folk, and Frederick Ichampon, Fredachi, as we all call him, from Ashanti Gold. He's the CEO, as well as George Amuakon is with Kumasi Asante Kotoko Kingston Sebunsu, Lord Zico, Bichim United, and then so those are for the premier side. And you talk about the division, you have the likes of Randiabi in the Loyeya, who was part of the the former executive council. He's also trying to vie for this position, but a host of others in there as well. So, all right, Otue Champon, our own Samtimer, who is a sports journalist, is in. Eric Opon Yabua Ransford Abbey, that's Randy Abbey with a Heart of Lions. Mercado, there's a new face in there, Mr. Mercado, very fine gentleman, one of these days you see him around. He's just like you, Gideon Fosu, and then Samuel Enimado,
Asamoah's manager,
business manager, also in. And with the executive council members, the women, we have Rosalina Amo, Edna Quagran, and then Evelyn Isiasari, Habiba Ataforsen. You know Habiba?
Yeah, no, yeah, people didn't take her seriously, but there she is.
Yeah,
you know. So I'm sure those other names you can find that.
You know, we are talking about. We are only focusing on the presidential bits about the disqualification. In terms of the other disqualification, Roy Atta, my very good friend Roy Atta, he's been disqualified from contesting for the RFA Central Regional RFA position, as well as Fuseni. Well,
no reasons have been given, eh?
No, he's been told. He's been told. You know, Roy had an issue with MNS Do.
The
late MNS Do. He had issues with him. Roy won that election. He actually dethroned MNS Do after being there 27 years. And the MNS Do took the matter to court that Roy wasn't part of the club that he used to contest the elections, and then issues came up. They went to court threw out the election result, and MNSD was installed as the regional federation head until he passed away. That issue is still there. So when he appeared before the vetting committee, they asked him about that, and he explained. But they believe that he still have outstanding issues in court that he must deal with. So on the basis of that, he cannot contest. I don't know what reason was given to Alhaji Fuseni, but Alhaji Fuseni as well, he's been thrown out just as Palmer and Royata. So the three men, but of course because Palmer is big and
he's the headliner
with everything that was going on as being one of the key guys, you know, going for this position. That's why we are all talking about him. But Roy, as well as Alhaji Fuseni, all
so essentially, in terms of all the names that were taken to be passed to contest the elections, 3 names have been dropped. That's Palmer himself, Roy Atta, and Alhaji Fuseni. Everybody else has gone through. Like I said, you can see the full list on myjoyonline.com. If you are on radio, you can join us tonight. We'll have a proper extended football discussion on Joy FM at 7 p.m. from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on our show, The Joy First Take. We can only hazard a guess as to why Palmer has been disqualified, but only 3 days ago, we understand that he wrote a letter of apology to the FA.
Okay,
Tell us about that.
So what actually, you know, when he was even about going in for the vetting, there were questions. One was to do with the 10% of the transfer fee for Joseph Pinto that he failed to pay the Football Association. Also, issues about the indemnity. You know, he made comments about if he had paid the referees when we played in the World Cup qualifiers for the 2018 would have qualified, because we didn't do that. So of course these were issues around, and others also used his association with the former president Kwesi Nyantakyi as one key thing, that we want to break away from something that you know we all talked about 13 years ago. Why would you want to bring the same person? So these are some of the issues lurking around him, and it doesn't really come as a surprise to me, you understand, where we've got into, because if the rules are there, and if you have to follow the rules and everything that is to be done, we didn't follow it, and then of course we'll get to this point.
All right, so special edition of the Pulse Sports, bringing you the explanation and analysis, and also the news that Wilfred Osei-Kweku, aka Palmer, has been disqualified from contesting the GFA presidential elections. You can expect more. And especially from the legal side, we are expecting an appeal from him. We don't know where he will go, but you can be sure that there will be a statement shortly. We were told before we came on air that his team were preparing a statement. Immediately it comes, we will give you the heads up, and you can find it also on myjoyonline.com. Benedict, thank you very much for your time. I'm Gary Al Smith, and so because of this, we will not have Pulse Sports at 4:20 or 4:30 as we do regularly.